Oh, and here
We
we are.
are live. Let's go. Welcome
We,
to Above the Dugout with
we are
Nick,
above
Murphy,
the
and Debbie
dugout
and Matthew.
now. What's up, Matt? How was your weekend?
It was good. I worked a lot. Even worked yesterday before the Super Bowl, but got to make that money.
That's right. Now, I always feel obligated to mention because I don't know how many people watch which podcast, if any, but Matt is the host of the Food Life podcast because he is in the food industry and passionate
Yep.
about food. What did you, so you had told me earlier, you worked until right before kickoff, right? 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I worked from
Right.
8 to around like 3:45. So I actually watched kickoff at work while closing down.
Because you're on West Coast. Yes, it was actually 6:45 Eastern.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what were you cooking? This intrigued me a lot, and I think everyone will realize why shortly.
Okay, so I was cooking the big game package that we serve every Super Bowl Sunday. So it comes with one whole rack of ribs, a pound of pork, a pound of sausage, and 20 wings, smoked and then deep fried and then tossed in our famous rib rub seasoning.
Jeez, that is awesome. Did you do you have a horse in the race yesterday? Were you rooting for anyone in particular?
Yeah, I was rooting for the Niners because I have a lot of family who are Niner fans, and then my best friend's a Niner fan too.
That makes sense. I was rooting for the Chiefs because I have a lot of friends who are Niners fans.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show. So we're going above the dugout. We are above the dugout now. We have a lot on tap for today. As you know, this show's a little bit different than you get from any of the other baseball shows. We do a lot of news interviews. We have a lot of coverage.
Yep.
Paraphrasing, and we're going to bring to you we're going to discuss divisions, division contenders, if you will. We've got a Mike Trout segment. We'll kind of explain more of that later. Got a chance to really catch up with Mike over there. We've got a Bob Nutting segment. We'll go to that. We've got your fish food for thought, the best Marlin highlights. We'll share that. Of course, the top 5 at the end of the show. So stick around. A lot done, a lot to get to, and we're going to jump right into it. Let's go with the first segment here is going to be divisional winner. So this segment, officially called Divisional Best, Divisional Pest. What we're going to do, Matt, is we're going to go through each division. We're going to choose who we think is going to win that division as of right now, and we're getting close to pitchers and catchers. So these rosters all of a sudden might start to be a little permanent. And then we're going to take a second team in each division, and we're going to discuss them and what would have to happen to dethrone our favorites. So basically the top 2 in each division and what kind of has to go right for the second team to jump the first one. So
I love it.
Yeah, we'll go left to right. Not going to go Toro rules here. We'll go AL East. And work our way down through the AL. So obviously starting with the AL East, I think from my standpoint, it's a no-brainer. I think the Yankees win the division again. I see no reason otherwise. Let's start there, Matt. Who is your division winner for the AL East?
Oh, Yankees, without a doubt.
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Who's your second favorite team or second team you think who
Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay. Okay, so same as last year.
Mm-hmm.
So the Yankees are an interesting case because last year about everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. They had 30 some odd injuries, the most ever in the history of the sport, at least since we've been keeping count. And key players, Stanton missed most of the year, Hicks missed most of the year, Didi missed.
Judge missed a huge part of it.
2/3 of the year. Kansas missed most of the year. Herman obviously didn't get hurt, but he kind of hurt his brain with the domestic violence thing. So he missed the playoffs. Stanton played like 2 games the ALCS, and then he was done. So a lot went wrong for the Yankees. They still won the division. What has to happen? How could the Rays win the division for you?
Well, one, probably Cole doesn't perform like everyone thinks he's going to perform.
Okay.
maybe the pressure of NY actually gets to him. I don't know, but he's still one of the best pitchers in baseball, so I find that hard to believe. But that would have to happen. More injuries, probably a lot more injuries. Even though you guys overcome them, you guys still have the depth to actually still get there again. For the Tampa Bay Rays, their pitching has to be on point. Throughout the
worth pointing out, they had their own injuries. It was mostly rotation, but Glasnow.
Yeah, exactly. Snell got injured for a good part of the year last year too. That kind of hurt them. So yeah, I can see the pitching. Their hitting's pretty good with Brandon Lau or Lowe. I don't know how you pronounce it. Lowe,
but that's shocking.
Lau, yeah.
Yeah.
So and all that young talent they have too. They have the depth to basically overcome injuries as well.
Yeah.
So. And with right now, I don't see the Red Sox being in the equations, especially with them trying to trade Betts and Price to the Dodgers. Yeah, they might get back. They're going to get back Verdugo for sure, who's MLB. He's been in the MLBs and he can play there. But let's see what happens when he gets to the AL East.
Yeah, I like Verdugo a lot. I like his hitting profile. I think he's a nice.
He's really good.
He kind of reminds me of Benintendi a little bit. I think.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he grows up to 20-25 home run power, but he can, maybe challenge 300, makes a lot of contacts, does everything kind of solid. So
yeah,
that'd be a nice get. I think a lot of people still expect, they see the name Mookie Betts and they're like, well, we're going to get Darryl May and Gavin Lux. And it just doesn't. It's not going to work that way. No.
Yeah, they're not going to get Lux. I don't think they trade Lux. Lux is what the second best prospect in baseball right now, according to Baseball Prospectus and Baseball America.
Yeah, I am.
And MLB Pipeline.
I am kind of surprised if Verdugo makes sense. Obviously, he's going to replace Mookie and he's cost controlled, but I'm kind of surprised there's not really a high end pitcher in this equation.
No, not at all.
You would think if they were going to center it around one really solid prospect, which I think is the market value for Betts as a rental with his salary and the teams who could actually are interested. You would think it would be around Gonsolin or something like that, or from the Padres, one of their non-Mackenzie Gore guys. But it doesn't. It seems like they just want to kind of replace Betts and save that money, and maybe move Price and save that money, and then retool next year, which I think is the plan.
And as of 3-4 hours ago, they still mentioned that the Padres are still engaged talking to the Red Sox. So maybe if they can land one of their top tier blue chip fucking pitching prospects, it might be a better deal to go the San Diego route. That's
their only card, really. Pin the Dodgers and Padres against each other and hope.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to just become a bidding war at the end with prospects.
Or hold on to Mookie, but then he's even more of a rental. And who knows if he needs that kind of impact. I mean, I'm sure some will need an impact bat at the deadline, but it usually comes down to pitching.
And I believe there's no way Mookie walks into any other team with an extension in hand either.
No chance.
He's going to free agency.
He said that so many times.
Yeah, he's so adamant about entering free agency. It's it's going to happen.
Yeah. So all that said, we open it with Yankees and Rays, and we mostly just discuss the Red Sox, who we don't think will finish first or second.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I agree with you on the Rays. I think the real big thing for them, if they're going to win the division, is Snell and Glasnow have to pitch like ace and co-ace, basically. And Charlie Morton has to not fall off with his age. Because that bullpen is real. They do things no other team can do as far as run prevention. Everyone on that staff is good. They're mostly relievers. And then, of course, you've got the offense, which I don't see a scenario where it's this explosive offense. It never is. But maybe their pitching is so good. And maybe, like you said, Cole has a little bit of a regression in year one. Maybe, the Severino is more of the second half 2018 Severino instead of the year and a half before that. Maybe that sort of stuff happens and the Rays get it going. But I think that division's pretty safe.
I think it is too. I think it's definitely going to land in the Yankees' hand at the end. But, it's baseball. Anything can happen.
Yeah. So AL Central, we've got I think the Twins will repeat. They're not really a great back-to-back year team, it seems. But I can't really think, I don't think the White Sox are quite there with their pitching yet. And I don't think the Indians have the talent the Twins do. So I've got Twins. Who do you also have Twins for first place?
Oh yeah, I have Twins for sure.
Okay, who's your second place? That's a little bit interesting.
Second place Central.
Yeah.
The Sox, the White Sox.
Okay, I'll differ a little bit. I really like what the White Sox did. They had a great.
I do.
Winter. I think they're set up for 2021 mostly when they get guys like Kopech and Rondon back. But I'm gonna go with the Indians. I think they've got one. I don't think they're gonna win the division. I don't even think they'll make the playoffs. But I do think that they will have one last kind of 90-ish win hurrah in them, and that'll be enough. But
that's true. It was funny because it was like on a cusp for me for Indians and the White Sox.
Yeah, I think that's pretty universal.
But you're still right because they're still worried about Kopech coming off TJ surgery. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I generally, unless they get hurt before the season starts, I generally won't even count on them the next year either.
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan Montgomery is a perfect example. Got hurt in May of 2018. And you're like, all right, 14 months usually is like the magic number to come back and be in a game.
Yeah.
Tommy John, that would have put him in August, but we didn't really end up seeing him except for like an inning or two. So,
see, that's our same worry with like Shohei.
All of your pitchers. Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you meant the Angels. I was like, with everyone. Yeah.
They've all had TJ surgery. That's true.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's the fear, and I don't think the White Sox, Keuchel's a nice piece, but he's not going to move the needle as far as a team that badly needs like a 1-2-3 punch. They've got Giolito, who I think fills one of those slots, but
yeah,
I'll take Clevenger really breaking out and staying healthy this time, and I'll take Bieber and Plutko or whatever. I think that the Indians pitching could be enough to get second in that division, which isn't that hard of an accomplishment.
That's true. It's not really, yeah, and to be honest with you, Twins pitching is still kind of like lackluster.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, it's not playoff built pitching by
they signed like 3 1-year deals to like 3 veterans. Homer Bailey. Who else did they sign? Rich Hill.
Yeah, those 2 guys in the back end. They brought back Odorizzi. They have Berrios.
Berrios did. He actually accepted that QO. This year.
I don't know that Odorizzi has the same season he just did, but Berrios could take a step forward.
He could. He's the only person on that staff who has like 1-2 potential.
Yeah.
Right now,
Pineda is still there, I think, isn't he?
Pineda,
Michael.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so anyway, back to the question though. What do you think has to happen for the White Sox to win the division?
Well, Kopech has to come back strong. Lewis Roberts has to come back, like enter in and basically like he ended the AAA last year.
Immediate impact guy, yeah.
Yeah, immediate impact, stuff like that. Moncada has to come in strong too. Like they need to really, I think, and like 2, they need to like really kind of like work on their defense. Like they have a really like one of their like big weaknesses is defense.
Yeah. It's interesting because we should have had Matty Bushnell on for these 5 minutes, but
I know. Where is he? Can he jump on right now? I know he has 2 weeks off.
Probably not. I think he's playing Golden Ball for like the next 8 hours.
Oh, I know, right? That's what he's fucking upset. I just played like 5 games with him too.
Yeah. I think, I mean, you're pretty much in the ballpark as far as the White Sox. I think you can mash your way to a division. I really do.
You could, yeah.
I don't think you can win just with that in the playoffs. So, White Sox have to hit the shit out of the baseball, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the path to a division, and you got to hope for a lot of Twins regression, which isn't out of the question because we just saw it after 2017.
Yep.
So, but those guys are young, and I think the Twins have it pretty wrapped up. My pick was the Indians. Maybe some mid-season acquisitions if they get lucky with the offense. Maybe they go the monster bullpen route and then combine that with their top 3 starters, and maybe it's kind of like a Rays thing going on a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets. How about your division over here, AL West? Who's your division winner?
As it sits right now, I think the A's.
Yes, I agree with you, and I'm kind of surprised. I know that Henry Henry also, we talked about on Donk City, he's got the ace also. Everyone kind of riding that wave, and I think with good reason. I have said this probably 20 times now. They scare me more than any other team in the AL this season. As far as
no, they do.
um,
They have the depth, they have the talent. We see it. They've won 95 to 97 games the last 2 years. Like they can
4 really, really high upside starters.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got Montez coming back, Montas.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy, and then you add to that, Fires is a veteran. He's rock solid. You've got Puck and Luzardo, the 2 prospects.
Yep, Luzardo, Puck.
A lot of upside. That's a scary, scary rotation if they put it together.
It really is. It really is. And I fucking hate it that it's in my division.
Yeah, and they already had a good bullpen, and the offense is good. It seems to kill the AL East. I don't know what it is about the A's, but
yeah. They have a solid offense. They have Chapman. Who else? Olsen. They have solid bats on their team. Simeon came around last year, fucking hit the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
Especially against the Angels.
Yep.
Fuck him.
Yep. Who's your second place?
Second place, I have to say, I hate to say this, Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it's crazy too, because I've seen a couple predictions of like the Angels winning 91 games, and I'm like, where are you guys getting this from?
I just don't like big year. I mean, I've been burned on this a few times. Like the Rays in 08 were a great example where I'm like, no, you don't usually don't win like 20 more games unless that year was a regression year. Like if you won 94 games and then you won
if we won 91 games, it would be plus 19 from last year. And I just don't see I know like Madden's gonna have a good impact for sure. The only way I could ever see it happen if Callaway actually comes in there and like fucking like tweaks basically and like works with everyone and like basically gets them to their full potential. Like Heaney, I can see Heaney actually having a breakout year for sure.
Is that how you say his name?
Heaney. I think it's Heaney. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah, we're learning all sorts of pitcher pronunciations in this.
Yeah, and I can definitely see Canning taking this big step forward, but like how big of a step it's gonna be is we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, Angels are nice. They're probably going to finish third. They like the Whites. Maybe they're a little bit behind the White Sox. I don't think they have quite as many high upside young guys coming up, but they're kind of on that track, like that 2021, 2022 ish area. If things go right for them, and that's always the hardest part. But I also have the Astros. It's not difficult to picture them winning the division. It really isn't. I mean, it's
not at all.
If you put everything that's happened to them aside, and just say, okay, it happened. The players didn't get punished. Maybe they even have a chip on their shoulder. Then it starts to become just the talent. And they did, they lost a lot of arm. They lost a lot of innings. They lost Cole. They lost Will Harris. They lost Osuna. Those were all high leverage innings. Yep. So, but that said, the A's aren't.
Lance McCullers is coming off TJ. We don't know how he's going to react to that either. So there's big risk there. He's probably going to be on innings limit as well.
So Henry, again, on Donk City, he predicted them miss the playoffs. And I think there's a path for that as much as there's a path for them winning the division. Because I can see both happening for sure. Yeah, you can say on one hand, we got Verlander, we have Greinke, we have McCullers, who was rock solid before he got hurt. We have Whitley, who just a year removed from being the top pitching prospect in baseball. He had a rough year, but it's he's still young.
He's still very young.
You put that together, and that could win the division. They could go back to the World Series with that kind of rotation.
Oh yeah, of course.
Teams do it with the bullpen anyway, and they obviously still have their offense intact for the most part. But you can equally say Verlander's getting old. He kind of worn down towards the end of the year. Greinke's getting old. He's not a 1 or 2 guy anymore. McCullers coming off serious injury. Don't know how he's going to react. Whitley hasn't made that leap yet. Don't know how he's going to react.
Exactly.
And then you've got, who knows how good the offense is based on this whole scandal.
Yeah, this whole scandal. Like, how good is it without the trash can?
Right. Yeah. How good was the trash can? We have no idea yet. So they can go really anywhere from like just a completely miserable season to going back to the World Series would not surprise me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they have the easiest path in the AL to me as far as winning the division, even though neither of us are picking them to win the division.
Yeah.
And then the NL East, we've got, I'm going to take the Braves again.
I'm taking the Braves as well.
And who do you have for second? That's an interesting second place division.
I have to say a tie between Mets and the Nationals.
That's fair. Do you want to do a little showcase for each? What has to? I mean, we kind of know the path for the Nationals, right? Like, you know, they've got the big three in the rotation, and they've got to get off. They lost Rendon, but they have Carter Kaboom, and they still have their veterans and Soto and everyone else there, Trey Turner. So we kind of know that path. What's your path for the Mets to win the division over the Braves?
Mets has to come. I think pitching has to work out for them, like all the way through, not just DeGrom. Syndergaard has to have like a big year, I feel, and try to stay healthy as possible. Yeah, that's basically it. Matson stuff needs to step up. Porcello? They signed Porcello, right? Rick Porcello? And who?
Michael Wacha.
Oh yeah, Michael Wacha. If they both have some big years, or at least like better than they did last year, then they have a chance.
I think if the Mets theoretically could have almost the exact same type of season they had in 2015, coming off the 2014 season. Like they were kind of a non-issue in 2014. 2015, everything kind of aligned. They made this crazy World Series run.
Yeah, it totally clicked for him. Everything worked out.
Yeah, and all those guys are kind of in place, and they haven't ever reached that level together at the same time again. But it could happen. Like you said, I think the biggest thing is in the rotation. They could have a better rotation and bullpen than the Braves.
Yes, they could. They honestly could. If Diaz comes back strong, because he was a strong pitcher in Seattle, and then
could. Yeah. I mean, you look at his peripherals, he gave up a lot of home runs. He's got stuff where that shouldn't be happening.
No, exactly.
Yeah, Mets bullpen could be a strength. They added Betances, who I think at least in year one should be pretty good. After that,
exactly. Yeah, I think so too.
A lot of mileage on that arm, but in year one, in year one, him and Diaz could be lethal. And you hit the nail on the head with the rotation, right? If Noah could pitch like an ace, he has ace stuff. Porcello been rock solid, and now he's going to the NL. Maybe he's even better.
Yep.
Wacha, he eats innings. You can say that, or at least
he's an innings eater for sure. He'll give you length for sure.
If Max ever stays healthy, you got another one, and you have Stroman, so that they've got a lot of good arms. So. And my pick, by the way, is the Mets. That's why I'm talking about them. And then you've got that offense, which I think is really the X factor, because if their core takes that next step, like Conforto and Rosario, and who the hell else? Oh, and obviously Alonso, if he maintains his level from last year. If those types of guys take the next step and are all good together, there's your path. It could happen.
Yep.
So, but for now, I will pick the Braves to finish first. How about the NL Central? Maybe the most interesting offseason of any division. Who's your first place team?
Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Cardinals too, unfortunately. I really want to be...
It's so tough because, none of those teams did really anything in the offseason to improve.
Yeah. Well, the Reds had a hell of an offseason.
Oh, I forgot about the Reds.
Yeah. And I've got them as second place. And
I have them as, second place for sure for me too.
Yeah. Only problem I'm not taking the Reds for the division is kind of the same principle, except the Reds I can actually build a case on because I follow them closely. And I shared this on Dong City. They were a 500 team after a 1-8 start with a positive run differential. And then they added the guys that they've added this offseason, which we've talked about several times on podcasts. My only problem with the Reds is that back of that rotation, I think, has a lot of upside. I don't know if I trust it. I do trust Cardinals have a million pitchers who, they're bound to put it together. Cardinals kind of have maybe a better offense, but probably not. Like, I kind of like the Reds offense better, but they do
Yeah,
have
it's very. I think it's very even the offense for sure. But I would give the edge to the Reds right now, honestly.
So you're taking the Reds for first?
No, the edge just for offense.
Oh, okay,
Like,
yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, the path there is pretty simple. Cardinals, Flaherty doesn't pitch like he's Jesus. That would be the first thing that would have to happen because he was unbelievable down the stretch last year. The bullpen, guys like Gallegos, who I hated on the Yankees, and then he made it last year. If he regresses a little bit, I could see more regression from the Cardinals, and there's kind of obvious improvement from the Reds, but they need a lot of that to happen. So, for the Reds, everything has to go right. For the Cardinals, a little bit of regression, and then maybe we're there. And I've got the Cubs in third. So what about the West? That's our last division.
Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers. And if
they get Betts.
They add Betts and Price, I will go on record right now with Yankees Dodgers as my World Series prediction.
Same here right now.
I can't think of two teams who can. That's like the first tier, and then it's everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is your second?
So hard.
It's tough. I know this is a tough division for a second place team.
Diamondbacks or Padres?
Diamondbacks a good pick. Yeah, Padres. They're in my White Sox bucket. 2021.
Yeah.
This year, I think a lot has to go right. But in that division, like the Rockies are kind of stupid. They're kind of treading water. They may even regress a little bit. And the Giants suck, and they should have rebuilt 5 years ago. So they're out. So really, the floor for the Diamondbacks and the Padres is third. So who's going to come in second? And to what James just commented, if Betts goes to the Padres, then I think they're probably my second place team. But
same here. Yeah.
For now,
it all depends on where Betts lands.
What's that?
It kind of depends on where Betts actually lands. If it's going to be Padres or Dodgers.
Yeah. James is actually nailing it for us. He said if Betts goes to the Padres, they're second. If he doesn't, D-backs are second, and I completely agree. I think the D-backs are meant to be a second-place team in a mediocre division. That's what they've done. Yeah.
They're always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if they win 87 games next year and for the next 10 years, I'm not shocked.
Me neither. Nope.
That 83 to 87 range. That's where they live. Awesome. All right. Well, that has been divisional best, divisional pests. Now we kind of get into the more fun segments of the show here. We are going to start with a little segment involving the Astros and Mike Trout. So
baby.
You are our contestant for the duration of this show now. As we know, Mike Trout, especially as you know, a man of few hobbies besides consistent dominance in baseball, is passionate about weather. Meteorology is one of his actual passions, of which we don't know about Mike Trout personally, but we do know that. It solidifies his place as one of the most boring people currently walking the earth. And in this game, I'm going to give you a natural disaster in honor of Mike Trout. So I'm going to name a natural disaster, and you have to tell me whether the follow-up quote to that about that disaster was something probably said by weatherman Mike Trout or the weather tempering Astros PR staff in the wake of all of their PR disaster whirlwinds the past 3 months. So I will give you a natural disaster. I will give you a quote about the natural disaster, and you have to tell me whether Mike Trout, meteorologist, said it or whether the Astros PR staff said it.
Okay. Ready?
You can answer by saying Trout or Astros PR.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, hurricane. And the quote is, if the hurricane comes late and the only thing we can do is try to stay dry, it's going to be really hard to stay dry if it's so wet outside.
Mike Trout.
Nailed it. 1 for 1. Number 2, earthquake. I'm sorry if you think shaking your possessions is bad, but everyone's possessions are being shaken. We're deeply apologetic you're taking offense to this.
Astros PR.
Yep, 2 for 2. Number 3, tsunami. The National Weather Center has made its statement. I'm not here to discuss details about what you think may or may not be happening, but the National Weather Center has made its decision. We're focused on the future after whatever is happening due to the National Weather Center's decision. We're all going to move on and focus on the next tsunami season.
Astros PR.
Yep, 3 for 3. Here we go, number 4, tornado. I'm not really much of a tornado guy. As I grow older, I track tornadoes better, but when I was younger, I wasn't much of a tornado guy.
Mike Trout.
Yep. Number 5, mudslide. I'm not taking part in this. I didn't cause the mudslide. There's always going to be mudslides, and I regret others taking part in talking about them, but I had nothing to do with any of the mudslides. I'm sorry.
Mets PR.
Astros PR.
I'm just kidding. Astros PR.
We'll give it to you. Number 6, blizzards. Growing up, I always admired blizzards. I wanted to go sledding in a blizzard like my dad. If we get a blizzard, me and a few buddies will probably take part in the blizzard because we like snow.
Mike Trout.
Yes. Number 7, flooding. Keep your eyes on the rain. You have to see it first to know it's going to rain. Then see how much comes down. People get into trouble when they look for where the rain is going and they haven't even seen it fall yet.
Astros PR.
No, Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
6 for 7 so far. Last one, apocalyptic heat. The heat isn't going to affect any of us that much. We're going to show the heat we can work out in it regardless. You'll see the heat doesn't matter. We can grill or run or hang out in this heat and we will win in 2020.
Astros PR.
Yes. And that has been Mike Trout, meteorologist, or Astros PR staff. So you got 7 out of 8. That is good enough to be a winner to this episode. By the way, those quotes were actually like 95% accurate. The only thing I did was apply it to weather.
Yeah.
So that is how boring Mike Trout is, and that is how bad Astros PR staff is. And that leads us to things that are bad and boring. And that is, would Bob Nutting pay for that? So here's our segment. I'm going to, again, you're the contestant here. Bob Nutting is the notorious cheap owner for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Some wish all teams operated this way, but even more people who actually have brains think Nutting is bad for the sport. So we got to thinking whether or not Bob Nutting, he of a $1.3 billion fortune and a $42 million payroll, is like this with his money in his personal life. Above the Dugout correspondent, Vin Scully-Deddy, sat down with Nutting this past weekend and really learned his habits. Without further ado, here are regular everyday things, Maddie, so try to guess if Bob Nutting would pay for them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this is all based on an exclusive Above the Dugout interview. Vin Scully-Deddy with Bob Nutting this past weekend, left right before the Super Bowl. Got to talk to Bob Nutting, so these are things we know as a fact Bob Nutting would either pay for or would not pay for. Number 1.
Hi, my love.
Number 1, high-speed internet.
No.
No, you're right. Bob believes everyone should read newspapers, especially Ogden newspapers, which operates in 12 states, by the way. Maybe you think internet is important, but Bob always feels if you can't have a newspaper, why not a magazine? And if you can't get either without a comment section on the internet, then what's the point? Bob hates feedback. Number 2, Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
No, Bob has a problem with sign-up sheets, like when all 53,000 Pirates...
Who doesn't buy Girl Scout cookies?
No, Bob Nutting hates it. He has a problem with sign-up sheets because when all 53,000 Pirate fans left in the world signed a petition for him to spend more money on the team, he flat out refused. He feels Girl Scout cookies being offered to him by little girls is just like demanding desirable players to watch for little baseball fans. It's asking for handouts like signed baseballs, which he also opposes for children. He's very passionate about that. You're 1 for 2 so far. Now we got new stadiums.
No.
Yes, you would. Bob Nutting loves when you pay for new stadiums, or at least most of it. It's like bottom line Bob always says, you pay twice what I do, and then I'll let you watch my team funded by luxury tax payments. Bob has lived a charmed life.
I misread the question.
No, well, you got to pay more attention. Bob lived a
I
charmed
know.
Yep. This actually happened, by the way, with PNC. He was built.
Yep, I know exactly. That's why I was like, God damn it.
$140 million of taxpayer money, $76.5 million from the Pittsburgh Pirates, which will almost completely be paid back to him in naming rights with his pledge to stay in Pittsburgh through 2031. All right. Number 4, center fielders. Would Bob Nutting
No,
pay for that? What's that?
what would not Nutting pay for that?
Would
No.
Bob Nutting pay for? No, yeah, you're right. Are you kidding me? It was bad enough Bob had to pay for Andrew McCutchen, but then his wife Leslie made him a great breakfast one morning, and he mistakenly gave him his franchise player a $50 million extension on an extremely team-friendly deal, only to have McCutchen seek out another $50 million when that contract was up, which he got from a cross-state rival, Philadelphia Phillies, for the rest of his career. Bob's not making that mistake again. Please welcome Guillermo Heredia as your starting center fielder in 2020. He have a career 240 batting average and 659 OPS and nearly 1,000 MLB at-bats. All right, number 5.
Heredia.
You've got a winning percentage so far. No, you're 500. You're 2-2 so far. Number 5, Dr. Pepper.
No.
You're correct. 3-2. What are you, stupid? Bob Nutting doesn't even want to pay team doctors for the Pirates. He's especially not going to pay a licensed name like Dr. Pepper when there's a perfectly Dr. Thunder lying around on Walmart shelves. This isn't fly fishing or something.
Or Mr. Pibb.
Yeah, or Mr. Pibb. That's right. That's a Southern version. He was born in West Virginia, so that's close.
Yeah.
He needs something of use to himself. He uses the same logic to employ his starting rotation, which will not include a single player with a sub-4 ERA, despite 4 of his projected starters being at least 27 years old. Last one, vacations.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we'll give you partial credit because it's a trick question. Yes and no. Bob Nutting loves vacations with his wife and his 3 daughters, and they make sure to always take them the first week of October after a long MLB season of ignoring criticism and competition. But he does not like paying for vacations that are a waste of money because he doesn't like to waste money, like ones requiring plane tickets, unless it's his own private twin-engine aircraft, or ones requiring lodging unless it's his purchased Seven Springs Mountain Resort. Money doesn't grow on trees, Maddie.
It does not.
Nope. So there you go. Would Bob Nutting pay for that? Hey, you know what? You finished above 500, though. You finished 3.5 to 2.5. So that is, you are cleaning up today. 2 segments you've dominated.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And now we know more about Bob Nutting. And that leads us directly into
Florida Man?
What's that?
Who is it? Is it Florida Man time?
Oh, it's fish food for thought. You nailed it. Marlins fish food for thought over here. For those of you watching for the first time, we give you 2 of the greatest Marlins moments in history. And we tell you, we just remind you of how great their franchise is. That's really it. There's no bells or whistles. Are you ready, Maddie?
Uh-huh.
November 25th, 2003. You know what happened that day?
No.
Derek Lee was traded to the Chicago Cubs for Hesop Choi and Mike Nannini and posted a plus 900 OPS in his career there. But most importantly, on the same day in 2018, a Florida man shoved a foot-long sandwich down his pants, sparking a manhunt in the city of Lakeland.
A whole foot long down his pants?
Entire foot long.
I think he was trying to compensate for something.
He had at least 14 inches of meat in his pants at that time.
Exactly. Yeah, at least.
And then the other great moment in Marlins history, and this one's sentimental to me, November 11th, 1997. You know what happened?
No.
Less than 3 weeks after winning their first ever franchise World Series, the Marlins traded fan favorite Moises Alou to the Houston Astros, where he would hit 38 home runs and drive in 124 runs the next season. But more importantly, on this date in 2015, a Florida man was charged with picking magic mushrooms while also carrying a 2-foot alligator in his backpack. That's right.
Was Alice in Wonderland?
Matt Bushnell, he loves alligators, just joined in time to hear that, so I'm happy for him. But
he's always posting any alligator news that comes from Florida, especially Florida, because he hates Florida.
Have you ever been so high that you would have a 2-foot alligator in your backpack?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Of note, November 11th, also my wedding anniversary. So that was 20 years before the exact day I got married. That happened. The Marlins trade, of course. 2 years before I got married on that day, the Florida man with the alligator in his backpack happened. And on top of that, both of these events happened within 30 minutes of my house.
Oh, wow.
So Lakeland is where the Tigers have their spring training facility. That's about 30 minutes southwest of me. The other event happened in Oviedo, which is basically like 5 minutes from where I work. But yeah, that's like 30 minutes northeast of me. So you go in either direction and you'll have something like that happen, although I've not witnessed anything like that. So there we go. And that leads us into our last segment. See, we zoomed through. We had 30 minutes basically on the divisional picks, and now we get to have our fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yep. So we had a nice little stat from James over there. He played on Joker Field. That's where the Tigers played. Joker Merchant Stadium is the name of that.
Oh, nice.
Also of note, I've been there as well. This is a cool story for me. I saw Tiger. So I have a friend who's also a coworker who is very good friends with JD Martinez. Like his cousin was in his wedding party, and he is very close with his cousin, so he's therefore close with JD Martinez.
That's freaking cool.
The reason I bring it up is one day, I think 2 years ago, it was before JD left the Tigers. He brought me to a spring training game that was on JD, so we sat with JD's family, and it was like his parents and like his sister, I think. And I guess even in spring training games, they have like a little celebrity section, which is like friends and family. So
yeah,
exactly 2 rows in front of me, like same seat, but 2 rows in front of me was Kate Upton and Justin Verlander's parents, who, so I guess Kate was in town and decided to catch a spring training game with Justin's parents. I think they were engaged at the time. I don't think they had been married yet. So I'm sitting behind Kate Upton, and she's wearing like a hoodie, and sitting with JD's family, who I had never met. Like I felt like the world's biggest like star fucker in that moment. So I'm watching this game, and it's against the Nationals, and the coolest takeaway from that game was that Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and both of them were 460 feet plus. That's
freaking cool.
Yeah, it's hard to describe because Joker Merchant's a really nice spring training facility, but it's still a spring training facility. So their center field wall has this giant eye black, and it's probably like, I don't know, 50 feet high behind center field. And it was also under renovation, so there were like cranes in the outfield. Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs over that eye black in center field. It yeah, I mean, it was like these were just bombs.
Wow.
Yeah,
straight fucking bombs.
Yeah, probably the second and third furthest home runs I've ever seen. The first being Barry Bonds at Yankee Stadium in a real game in 2002, when he hit it like 3/4 of the way up the upper deck and right. That's still the furthest home run I'll probably ever see in my life.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's my Lakeland story for the day. So without further ado, we'll go into our last segment here. We didn't get a lot of feedback, and this is where I'll make a little public service announcement on behalf of Maddie and I. Yeah, Bryce Harper is a beast, James, and his torque on his swing is ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if he tears his labrums by age 32. But anyway, so a public service announcement. We didn't get a lot of feedback as far as the top 5, and I still think people maybe don't know what it is or So we're going to have to do a better job of that. But we did get some feedback. But for the second week in a row, Henry Maldonado, not because he's my other podcast partner, had the best idea. So that's what we're doing. This is a roundabout way of saying, please participate when we ask, because this show, beyond any other baseball show, wants participation from the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. We want you guys to be involved.
Yes, we are above the dugout with you. That is why we named it Above the Dugout.
Above the Dugout.
We're just talking about stuff that fans might talk about. Maybe they have to be on drugs to do it, but they will talk about it at some point. And, we want participation from you guys. You guys can basically write the show, and we just kind of deliver it. Would be an ideal goal. Anyway.
Yeah.
Top 5 is Maddie and I. It's our favorite segment. And this week it is top 5 reasons Dusty Baker continues to get work. So Maddie, you've been prepped now as far as what you have to deal with. This is your final contestant segment, and the hardest one because it's rapid fire. So
I only have 3 seconds to answer each question.
You have 3 seconds, correct, to answer each segment. And if you do not, then you have lost that answer. There are obviously 5 of them. Gathering my papers right now. And so the topic, so you have it. Top 5 reasons Dusty Baker continues to get work. I'm going to rapid fire the questions at you. I'm going to rapid fire the answers at you. And we're going to get through this. So you ready?
Yep, ready.
Okay. Top 5 reasons Dusty Baker continues to get work. Number 5. Go.
Nerd stats.
No, he's kid-friendly. After all, this is just a game, right? The White Sox almost had the entire franchise fell apart over the fate of a kid when Chris Sale began cutting up jerseys. Of course, Dusty Baker is going to get hired by the Astros, his 5th different team he will not manage to win a World Series with. When he has 26 children to teach right from wrong to, he has to manage the Astros. Rumors aren't true. He's going to hire JT Snow to snoop up Jose Altuve on any plays at the plate, though. Number 4. Go.
I don't know.
There will always be young pitchers to ruin. Dusty ruins children like he's Michael Jackson posting 20 milligrams of Viagra at his own petting zoo. And Forrest Whitley should be no different. Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, that was an appetizer. Just wait until Baker gets his hands on Whitley, James Velasquez and company, and pretends to evolve like he's Mike McCarthy watching game tape while quietly salivating at all of the early 20-year-old UCLs out there. Number 3, go.
He wants to put his son's life in danger one last time.
Oh, that's so close, but no, MLB was too cowardly to punish other teams appropriately. Barry Bonds did steroids. Enter Dusty Baker, managing out of his only shot at a World Series title. The Cubs insufferably were cursed by a farm animal for a century. Have a dose of Dusty just when you think it's going to end. The Reds are located in Ohio. Ohio deserves nothing nice. Have some Dusty. The Nationals have emerged for the first time in franchise history. You deserve first-round humiliations. Astros lie, cheat, and con their way to its only franchise title in its pathetic existence. Here's Dusty to ruin the players still in their primes. Woo! All right, that's number 3.
Yeah.
I need a break. I'm not programmed to speak this quickly. Okay. Whew. All right, I'm going to get through this. So will you. Number 2, go.
Because he's Dusty Baker.
No, that's so close, but no, Roberto Osuna and Brandon Togman are gone. How will the Astros go on without publicly humiliating domestic violence victims now that their assistant GM, who publicly supported the hiring of a domestic abuser in front of a domestic support awareness reporter, is gone along with said domestic abuser? How about hiring Dusty Baker, who doesn't really believe in domestic violence to begin with? How can anyone forget when Baker accused women of also being domestically violent back when he was manager of the Nationals in 2015? And in response to Aroldis Chapman's recent allegations at the time of choking his girlfriend and threatening to shoot her, said he doesn't believe in reports, and therefore who is to say Aroldis Chapman's guilty to begin with? We haven't forgotten, and clearly neither have the Astros, if you believe Jim Crane is masturbating extra hard this week. Last one. Number 1, go.
I don't know.
No, that's wrong too. You got most of the segments right, though. The Astros could use more speed, and maybe minorities. Dusty famously said you get more speed with Latinos and African Americans. The Astros front office has had such bad PR the last few months. Why not throw your support behind completely in touch and sane Dusty Baker, who will actively demand Jose Altuve steal every chance he gets and try to teach Alex Bregman a thing or two? The Astros are going to need to maximize their base runners more this season anyway, since there will be far less of them.
Woo!
All right. Well, hey, I mean, I don't think anyone's ever going to win the top 5 because it's completely made up and subjective, but you did really well with the other stuff. So that was a good episode for you.
Well, thank you. I tried.
You're welcome. And that thus completes, well, your dog freaks out, or my dog freaks out, and your daughter freaks out.
Yeah, my daughter's crying. And
yeah,
I know.
He's a huge fan. So is my dog.
I know.
Yeah.
So we have Plotcast airing tomorrow, right?
Yes.
But no Jake. It's going to be Jet Dry and Aaron.
Do we have a time on that? I'm so bad about this.
No.
Here's why, though. I'll give you another quick disclaimer. I'm bad about knowing the times because I'm the one who posts the entire schedule in Baseball Life. So if you're ever confused and don't know a time, just check Baseball Life. It's in the announcements. You can see like 2 to 3 weeks of the programming for podcasts if you're into them. But yes, we do have Podcast for Dummies tomorrow. It is Jet Dry and Aaron Duke. They want to kind of finish what they started. Jake and Aaron will be back to regularly scheduled Podcast for Dummies after that. They are partners. And then
the lab airs again on Wednesday as well.
Yes, your show, The Lab, that's always at what, 6:10 or something random?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. All right, 6 p.m.
For some reason it says 6:10. I don't know why. That was Johnny.
Johnny always says 6:10, so who knows?
I know.
Yeah, so 6.
And then I think Rack of RBIs is airing this week too as well. I think it's Thursday or Friday. Or
Rack
Thursday.
of Ribbies, I believe, is Friday. So we have a
Friday.
Tight schedule this week. And then one thing straight from the man himself, tune into Dong City, which is next Monday at 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. because we have a pretty big announcement to make, as we generally do on that show. So,
ooh, I like big announcements.
It's very top secret. You're all going to want to tune in. It affects all of baseball life. So tune into that. Henry and I will unveil that secret announcement. But a lot of scheduling coming up. Podcast for Dummies tomorrow. This has been Vince Mercandetti alongside Matt Whelan. You guys have a good rest of your night.
Strike 3, you're out.